and I'm very happy to say that we've received a lot of good reviews on the last programs on stress, and people are waiting today so that we talk about the final segment on stress today. Mr. Gassama kindly told us that to deal with stress, it is in two levels. But one thing that I really took home with me was the way he described what stress is, which is that it is like a leaking tap and you put a bucket to contain it, and for a while you're going to be able to contain it in that bucket, but it will overflow, and then when it overflows it will cause the damage that you didn't want it to cause, and that is why it is not good to keep stress within us, because it will definitely overflow at some point. And he told us that to deal with stress, it is in two levels. One level is the macro level and the other is the micro level, and we were able to delve into the macro level during the last program, which basically talks about the environment, the family, home, the workplace, and so on and so forth. And now the micro level has to deal with the individual. How does an individual deal with stressful situation? Again, just to remind, especially if we have people who have not listened to our programs before, we're talking about stress, and we defined stress the last time as a mental state of worry or anxiety or mental tension which is caused by a stressful or difficult situation. And we mentioned that all of us do go through difficult situations, and it just depends on how we deal with it, so that it does not harm us, and that is what we're going to talk about today. So Alaji, we welcome you to this program, Gassama. mbokk yi ñu ngi leen a nuyuwaati fii nii ci seen programme yi Healthlink bi nga xam ne man ak Kadijatou Diallo ñoo leen ko di indil fii lundi bu nekk ci QTV ci Kairaba Avenue di waxtaanee seen wérgu yaram. ñaari programme yu mujjee nag ñu duggoon si ak suñ xarit di Alaaji Momodou Gassama nga xam ne moom am na xam-xam bu yaatu ci li nga xam ne moom la ñoo waxtaanee fan yi mooy stress, lu ñoo ooyee stress. waxoon nañ leen nag lu ñoo ooyee stress mooy lan, mooy ne njaaxare wala ñàkka dalum xel wala tiitaange boo xam ne ay mbir yoo xam ne mooy moo la ko indil. wane nañ ne woon tamit ne amut képp koo xam ne mu ngi dunda koo xam ne loolu du ko dal, koo xam ne du am jaaxare wala mu am lu ko tiital wala lu am lu ko jaaxale. yooyu noonu ala fokk rek mu am, waaye nag naka lañ see muccee moom la ñoo waxtaanee tey. waxoon nañu nag ne mbir mii nii dafa mel ni rek ku am pompe boo xam ne mu ngi toxa ndox, mënuloo koo tëj, soo ko tëjee du tëju, ndox bi di toxa nga jël siwo def ko ci ron foofu noonu. soo bàyyee siwo bi noonu di ko bàyyi noonu rek, siwo bi dina dem ba fees, su demee fees nag dina walangaan. su nekkee ne nag amoon na loo xam ne dafaa yaaxu, lu fa nekk foofu noonu dina yaaxa lépp loo xam ne waroon na koo yaaxa. mu mel ni nag nekkut loo xam ne luñ war a noppil la. nekk na loo xam ne soo demee daal ba njaaxare bu wala tiitaange boobu noonu am, war na am yoon boo xam ne di nga ko am, boo xam ne di nga jëflanteeg moom ba nga xam ne du la lor. wanoon nañu tamit ne pour jëflante ak jaaxle bii nii wala ñàkk dalum xel bii nii ñaari yoon la. benn bi mooy bu mag bi moo xam ne ñëpp daal ñoo ci war a taxaw ba nga xam ne loolu noonu di nga ko mun a fànq. mooy famille bi wala ci mbedd bi wala ci liggéeyukaay bi ñu defar ko ba nga xam ne du indi tiitaange wala jaaxle si nga xam ne mooy liggéey foofu, wala ki nga xam ne moo dëkk ci kër gi, wala ki nga xam ne moo dëkk ci dëkk bi. loolu waxtaan nañ ci, waaye nag tey dafa bugg a dugg si nag léegi nii nit ki ci boppam, ki nga xam ne moom la lii dal, naka la war a def ba nga xam ne du ko indil loraange. loolu la ñoo ñëw dugga si tey. kon dinañ bàyyi Kadijatou mu nuyoo, mu waxtaana suñ mbokki Mandinkay, den ñu door a nag ñëw ñu def ko rek nuñ ko daan defee. mooy ne Alaaji Momodou Gassama si boppam dina mun a wax lu moo wax ci angale, su demee ba pare faram-fàcce ko ci kalaama Mandinka, den man ma door a jow nag jéem koo wax ci olof noonu lañ ko defee waaye dinañ bàyyi Karjatu mu ubbi programme bi Karjatu.
Assalamu alaikum badingol mbalni mbarala alla jati kende ya programme to ndalta kamin so tale jan QTV tele bumbato alnal badimma Kadijatu Diallo anin Dr. Aboubacar Dia mbadingol comme nga faale no nyamen tenen tambilañi ngalun tan ko mayare ngo min so jam min kita alaji Mamadou Gassamati me yatinna ko nga kacca ko mayare mba so tale jam mi yalon ko mbadingol be sewota kaccañin na bay nga korosile ko abe mantoro min ke kan sate kono asembo warta bakele me yatinna ko ngaje ko kacca ko mayare mbalo mi yalon ko ka fa stress wolo meri ya lon koy man lo kun tambilañi jibe ka fay nga kacamin ke wolom stress ti dol sa fay sondo ma sabati baliya dol sa fay ko kija fara ko mi ya lon kay momuta me ya la man nyina la no dol sabije sa fa fana nikuya adun tunkongolo mi ya lon ko hadamadin wo hadamadin nga itandi kaca tambila kono ko ase amutanole adun fenno mi ya lon ko motije mi ya lon ko ate stress sotonola menketa nikuyati wala sondo ma sabati baliyati so bari nga kacanyam fana yitandele mi ya tinna ko itam bade ngo ning ayatara ko ye stress nyin soto kulo mi ya lon ko enyanta ka fintindile ya kaca bay kulo mi ya lon ko Mr. Gassama ya yitandi ko akamale kom pompo mi ya lon ko atinyata pompi kungo nyen tinyata jiyo nyimbe sulen na damandi ye sijilo londa koto na meta nyawo nyama sijilo nyimbe falale na fata dum abe waylale adun na wayta duma abe mantoro kele yen me ya tinna ko ni ku ya na be balo kono fanan aso mantoro ma nyaale fanan ke yeno me ya tinna ko kabrim boto woto fanan na ta ka kaccanyen tentendi kaje ko ako stress nyinga ya itandile ko tunkun fulale bala me ya tinna ko macro ani micro nyi wolom fenti mi ya lonko wolom ibe dinkira minto ibe do ko dulal minto ibe mafangol minto mi ya lonko akose ni ku ya sila nole walla adinkira nyin se ku kela no mi ya lan kabe mantoro kelela me ya tinna ko ga yitandi fanan ko micro nyin aya yitandi ko womuyte fongolti bara obi akabe kaccanyin katalale ka tentendi foka je ko ka kaccanyin kumfa kaccanyin nak afanota bakele bara aba kato dan kelale ka je ko kaccanyin se kumfa no nyamen ani momo mi ya lonko ye stress to bay fenno mi ya lonko mobi je ite tankano lala bara fanan ni ya soto ite mario ibe munekela memba tinna ko ate mantora la ate kurandile la bay nga yitandi le programme tambila ko sasa jamal bi jabe hanama dingol la aben kono jang me ya tinna ko stress le ka sila nga yitandi ko yele selo bi jele diabetes bi jele fen jamal mi ya lon ko ite mari fongo malum fanko nyen jisu kurango yete mutanyade liara fan ni ku ya ni sondo mo sabati bali ya mi ya lon ko abe kono ima fintindi atata faye sung mantoro la me ya tinna ko ngaje ko kacca ku mayare mbalon puru nga kaccanyen tentendi sa mbi alsela moy comme natara bete fongola ibe munekela me ya tinna ko ati mantoro la adi be famma ko ilala nyame ene mbara Mr. Gassama.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Mr. Gassama. Thank you once again for taking your time to come and discuss this topic with us. Just like we said in the opening, today we want to concentrate on the individual, on the micro level. What can we do to prevent harmful effects of stress on us? So the program is yours.
Thank you very much, Dr. Khadija. Very good. Well, this is a very interesting program, very important indeed, because if you going back to the definition of mental health, you know, stress is one critical element of the definition of mental health. How we are able to cope, because we all go under stress, but how are we able to cope? That is where the problem is. So it is a very important one. So therefore, without it, there is no mental health. If we don't address it, our mental health can be, or well-being can be compromised. So stress, as we said before, because we have to link up. You know the causes, the risk factors for health. I mean, for stress. Now, what do you do when you are in this situation? It's a very critical one. Now, I will just link it to one thing that I think I mentioned before, which is when you are under stress, it keeps you away from it pulls you away from your values. Now, one thing that you have to bear in mind when you are under stressful, accept that you are under stress because you know yourself. You know you are having a very difficult situation. You are in a very difficult situation because there are two things, your thoughts and your feelings. You know it better than anybody, but it can really manifest into some things that others can see, but you know it better than anybody. So your feelings and your thoughts, the moment they hook you, then that stress is serious. And how do you unhook? Hooking means just like you have, just a fisherman, what they do.
They hook
exactly. They hook the fish and whatever. So this is exactly the same. When you are hooked, when the stress hooks you, it keeps you away, pulls you away from your values. Your values are your desires, things that you love. You know, if you are a parent, for example, what is your value? You want to be a kind, you want to be a very responsible parent. You want to be nice to your family. You want to be very responsive to their needs. If you are at the workplace, it's the same thing. You want to work hard. You want to achieve results. So all these are values. Now, when you are under stress, it keeps you away from them. So how do you do now? You are what we call unhook. How do you unhook now yourself? First is you admit that you have this situation. Dialogue, communication is very important. Individual level. When you are in a difficult situation, because the state originates from somewhere. Now, don't hide, don't keep things to yourself, because at the end of the day, you yourself, you realize, I'm not myself. Accept it. These days, I'm not myself. These days, I'm not feeling bad, I'm not feeling good. I'm not eating and I'm not like even my family, the way I approach, I myself know that there is something wrong. So what do you do now? To unhook yourself is now communicate. You have a wife, for example. You are an individual. If you are in the home environment as an individual, you can talk to somebody. The most important person is your spouse. Now, you discuss your problems. And once you discuss, your problem is halfway solved. And that's why one of the World Mental Health Day team was depression. And they deliberately say, depression, let's talk. That was the theme. Depression, let's talk. Nothing else. He said, depression, let's talk. It simply means, it's the same because depression, it starts like the tap water. Stress is now one of the elements. You know, if you ignore it, you go depressed. And when you are depressed, you know also it can even cause suicide. Depression also at the end of the day. So all these things are important. Now the most important thing, what is prevalent in all literature is, don't keep quiet over your difficult situation. Please communicate, share. You will find an answer somewhere. Maybe things that is bothering you, you think they are difficult to solve. It's very easy when you talk to somebody and you confide. We all confide. We all have people we trust. So go to people you trust, whether it's a spouse, if it is the workplace, as an individual, talk with a friend, a colleague. You must be in an office where you trust somebody. You cannot be in an office and I don't trust anybody. No, that is not possible. Or I'm not friendly with anybody. No, that's not possible. So it is important that, at that individual level, we look at that. The other thing is, which I found interesting, and I think we need to really look at our protective factors. There are protective factors in our society. Now, one of them is, you will be surprised. I'm amazed when I think about it. Our tradition, our people, when they are angry, they say, give him water to drink. Don't you see? I love this, you see, because there is a correlation between stress and dehydration, stress and water. So water is so critical, because at the end of the day, what you need to do is make sure that you unhook yourself. And what is important is, again, do things that go after to unhook yourself. Go after things that you enjoy quickly. That should be the first. I enjoy reading. I enjoy chatting with friends. Go there and do that quickly. Then once you do that, and you do more, because what science, many researchers, they say, you concentrate very well on that activity. When you concentrate, your thoughts, your feelings will eventually move away from that toxic environment. And exactly, even drinking water. If you are in a stressful condition, if you are drinking water, don't drink water as the usual way. Take that cup, look at it, try and be attached to it, try to be focused on it. Look at the water, try the cup. You are looking at everywhere, and then even the water, you sip it slowly. You taste whether it's tasty or not. Slowly, you enjoy it. Just make sure you attach yourself, you focus, Once you are focused on drinking that water, it will also way of really reduce. You will see it. You will see the benefit.
Yes. So that we go to the local languages, and then we can now delve into this more. Okay. But I caught three things. I caught that number one, admit.
Yeah.
So don't go into denial. Don't say that this is not stressful. It is stressful. So admit. So number one, what you're telling us is that we must admit that there is a stressful situation. I am actually stressed. I'm not going to deny that. Okay, that's number one. The next thing that you have given us, from what I catch, is to share that experience or to express that by talking about it. So you find somebody that you can trust with this situation, and you go and talk to them about that situation, and maybe they will put it in a perspective that you didn't see it before, because I think a lot of the stress is the way we look at it, and therefore sharing with somebody can remove that. Then the third thing you said is to now do something that you enjoy. I'm sure we're going to dilate into that, but these are
stress of no ni fitio of no nyam but ni as society mo kunkili na ite bo mun kenol même kumata wolo folo mo be alon ni yalon ko ni fitio be leti alon e balobe e jato be nyame hani mo ma fo ete alon oto même kumata folo e kani de afe ini mo e kacha ni bele bungolo kono ni mo soto foy mo soto le suo kono je wala bun kono je lata men sako ni mu cewote ila muso wala ni muso de le cema mama mo tammi to la folo wala sujate la so ibe fenne kani de afe akacha ya nyinde mam fan kenyalo mam balo kenyalo waten kono kol siata isa jal na ya kacha do asi so nyokan to mando ba to boris taro bulite be itama mellong yo woto kumata baga ka kalamutai ka kacha ko ina ni man kacha la de yodi afe don asina na wajabi asina na kura modil woto ko ka kacha ka ifam fo moye me alo ilatala kumata baga ni ata no ile family de do ku lay bolo franto ni alon ko stress o bela indi moye kacha ifam fo moye me alon ko ilatala to mondo be yamar la fenel me alon ko e asini soma be kele borol te tama mi illa mem to mondo ci jaxali problème men bala yama ni problème te ci fenkano ndesi ni manan ko no ba yara fang ni diamuta moye mosi o asa be du beng problème o ni asa foye asi fen foye me alon ka bena fala pour ni kama ito o problème o ni ci bote bala nyame akumata baga woto ka diamu ka kacha ni problème ni stress o bel akumata baga yo ko fanan sabanjam wala mu ni itata ile miro kata be mu miro ani ike mira nyami ika men ibalo ika mira nyami ike mira nyami sondomo ani balo ka tama nyami nyinem problem wote yo sai ni te ko ni o soto men kumata baga ni be nyin nu bela fenke kata bageta femmi alon ko idelta kawle e kan ni dia soto je bag ni bakela asi ken femfenti italo o ta o nyati wala ni nyati wala dong i bayla katina lele ile ni mira detari mo inten mira ile njahalo te ni fito inten ake sabandi wala yalo ni fito nyaka muneke aka mo sabandi ale lafina ko la men ala baro me alon ko bara ni mate ile ala tamenna ake sabandi wala kan stress mu fen kuntam balde i bayla ni taman kam mo sangar di stress yi sangar ni no ni kada mode me alon ko ni mulle hada maya tata nyaba ni stress do isi kuntu no mol ni te kada mode mul horoma stress tat ne mam horoma no so stress ke ake sabandi ile ku kendol la kan ile miral kendol miral ni malu stress ke jamfande wala doctor.
Thank you very much Alaji mu ngi commencé nag léegi wax nit ki ci boppam su nekkee ne am na loo xam ne jaaxal na ko loo xam ne xelam dalatut naka la moo def daal ba jëflante lii ba nga xam ne du ko lor ci wér-gu-yaramam mu ne njëlbeen mooy nga nangu ne am na lu la dal lu métti bu ko nuba bu ko téye ci sa biir boppa bul bañ sax ne loolu amul xam nga am na ñoo xam ne dina am lu leen a dal lu métti loo xam ne ñoom dañoo ne sax lii méttiwut lii du dara déedéet dara la nangul ne lii dara la affect na la loolu mooy number one mu ne ñaareel bi mooy nga bokka ko ak keneen bu ko nangoo denca yow keena nang ci waxtaan mu ne su nekkee ne loo xam ne la comme dal na la ci biir kër gi wala ci liggéeyukaay ku lay gën a jegeñ mooy sa jëkkër wala sa jabar nga dem waxtaan koo moom wala su nekkee ci liggéeyukaay bi la nga dem waxtaan koo keneen koo xam ne mu ngi ci liggéeyukaay bi soo moytuwut sax yow loo foogoon ne lu rëy la lu métti la moom dina la mun a waxtaanal ba nga xam ne yow di nga gis solution wala di nga gis ne lii ndekete sax nekkut loo xam ne lu garaaw la noonu mooy ñaareel bi ñetteel bi wax na ne nga def jëf boo xam ne soo ko defee daf la dee di indil bànneex daf la dee indil neex loo xam ne bugga nga ko lu mu munti doon wax na ne su nekkoon ne yow da nga ndox daf la neex wala su nekkee ne yow doxantu daf la neex wala su nekkee ne yow jàng alxuraan daf la neex wala su nekkee ne yow jàng buk daf la neex nga def loo xam ne daal soo ko defee dina la fàtteloo mbir mii nii ba nga xam ne sa xel daal nga door cee mun a dellu si waati foog naa ne yii nii mooy yi nga xam ne ekkati na ko I want to now dilate on this. I'm sure there are other things, but I want to dilate on this before we open the lines. One of the harmful things that can happen in stressful situations is for people to delve into addictive behaviors that they feel if they do it, it will make them forget. For instance, somebody says, well, I enjoy alcohol, so if I have stress, I'll go and take some alcohol, it will make me forget it temporarily. Or I'll go and take some drugs, it is going to make me forget it temporarily. Now, those that fall in what we're talking about when we say do something that you enjoy. Yeah. So I just want us to go into that in more detail so that we see, so that nobody misinterprets what we are saying. Yes.
Follow.
In English first.
In English, yes. I think first of all, those things that this is what we call coping mechanism. How do we cope stress? There are different ways. People have different ways, but there are negative ways also. The negative ways are, you want to resort to using drugs. And I have privilege to discuss with many people who about this condition, and they say now, Gassama, me when I'm stressful, I smoke.
Yes.
Smoking is releasing.
It makes me relieved. Yes.
It makes me release. Or maybe you want to go and do whatever, alcohol. You see, these are all coping mechanisms for some people who are weak, and it is not helpful. So you don't resort to those negative, because they themselves, without being stressful, those things that those alcohol and smoking, they are harmful to your health. They are very harmful to your health. So you are already health. You have a health problem. Now you want to add
something to it.
It's like salt to injury.
Exactly. Yes.
So it's like adding salt to injury. It's very important. So when I say is things that certainly, like I say, value. You see, value is your desire, something good. I keep saying it. Drink is smoking, we all know. It's harmful.
Of course.
It's not good. It's not good for your health. So why go for it? So anything that you value, things that you value, things that are good. Like you said, good things like you like chatting with people. I love it. Or even drinking a tire for some time.
Exactly.
Go and do, that's it. At least, or even if you don't drink it there, at least you socialize. Because human being is so important. The medicine for human is human being. So you cannot run away from human beings. So what is important, like we said, is your coping mechanism. Many people think, because I have people who said when I go into smoking, I have my stress.
I forget my stress. No.
That is very, unfortunately,
it's very temporary.
It's temporary. That's temporary, and it's disastrous.
And because it's harmful. What you're doing is harmful.
It's
so
harmful.
What you mean is do something that is good.
Yeah.
That is good for your health.
Exactly.
That you enjoy doing.
Exactly.
But not something that is going to harm you. So I think that's.
Yeah, and I think one thing important here, doctor, is which everybody can do is walking.
Yes.
Physical activity.
Exercise. Yes.
Physical activity. You don't need to go to the gym to be that. You don't need to have all these gadgets in your home. It's expensive. But one thing that God has given us legs. We can walk. Even if you don't have, you have challenges with your leg walking. You can do something to be physically more, just to make sure
just physical activity.
Physical activity. That's all.
Yes.
It doesn't matter. So it is important that. Yeah.
Yes, that point maybe we can just clear it with our Mandinka speakers and Wolof speakers. Then at that point we'll open the line. Then you can go now into the other methods that individuals can avoid harming themselves with stress.
Yo nkamem fo wala mu bayring ko ni fitio ni kuya aboro hada badingo ka tombondulalto ni ya tombondulado nanata nalande tambita akafriyate balokon probamo bina yo sayin kamem fo wala mu dole kan yina fo ko men ngamem fo kacha ko non ko ni anyimbela yalo ni fitio bela kacha fo lo ni moy kacha isa kata fanan isi fen ke mealan ko ka dali ika ake nafa anduka ika kututeje aka die fanan ake sonno mo tankundi ta kata wala yo docteur même futa ko mata ba do sa fono nga ninte stress ken kata nga ninga dolo mi wala nga siga saba ha ngine stress kata wolu man ngol kam buku sumunala ya nga ko so mo bala buku sumunala hani o iko sikata sabo même fonko nga mo jama ko la ninte stress tan kana sikata sabo wala buku sumunala imam tam ko so ma hani kabi même kuma da sikato sabo damba mo ko jadi ken la nyul o ka tinyala sa ite ko ite be stress lindo fana mu jadi ken la nyul dol sa e kubila katika do ko nada woni ko kubila katika e oto nga bori wasifala ni stress bela du kare joy o damma fon abe do jorantinya la na stress la fafana ha abe bela jato sufo lanjur la ay na stress la fatu oto mo man la fi wala oto akumata ni stress bela bori wala ferem jam fela nga même fo wala femme alon ka be na fala abe mo fana ko na fala ista yote ite sisi fawla ake nyinandi le kadun ka même fa ka mo sabandi ake sabandi ina ku kendo le kan ibaye wala naji mo la fi kam fa mo be la fi kam fa ba neje kam fa mo be kadde yim fala kam fa ta yim bu ko dal kam fa la stress la sabu jama oto ko san itim nyanda mun kele bori wala ake borindi ake sabandi ku kendo la o ku kendo bita ye sisi fa wala ni sisi fa la ibaka wato menna ibayla ake sabandi stress ake sabandi stress le no kede binu si fansoto
thank you
jërëjëf
Alaaji Mamadou Gassama lu ñu ekkati rek léegi nii mooy ne wax nañ ne képp koo xam ne am na lu ko jaaxal am na loo xam ne xelam dalatul lu moo mun a def benn ci yu moo mun a def mooy mu def loo xam ne daf ko dee di indil bànneex pour mun a fàtte lii nii daal suñ waxee loolu nag am na ñu bëri ñoo xam ne dinañ taxaw ne waaw kon de man su ma amee stress ma tux cigarette parce que su ma tuxee cigarette dinaa fàtte mbir mi wala ma naan sàngara wala ma jël drogue pour ma mun a fàtte affaire bi moom nag lu mu wax mooy ne yow léegi nii am nga problème nga bugg a yokk ci problème bi nga tux cigarette dafaa yàq sa wér-gu-yaram nga yokk nag ci loolu noonu stress baa nga fa ba pare yokk nga ci nag beneen stress mooy stress yi ñàkk a wér-gu-yaram kon loolu noonu amul njëriñ wala nga naan sàngara mandi soo demee ba génn ci mandi bi stress bi gën a réyati ci yow sax ba pare tamit yaa ngee lor sa boppa wala drogue moom ñëpp xam nañu drogue lan lañ def moom lu ma wax daal mooy ne su nekkee ne dem nga ba am stress nga def loo xam ne luy am njëriñ la loo xam ne yow dina la indil bànneex am na ñoo xam ne doxantu moo leen di indil bànneex soo demee ba am stress mel ni yaa ngi am stress ci kër gi nga sol sa daala doxantu ndànka benn 5 kilomètres 4 kilomètres nga doxantu waati ñëw balaa ngaa ñëw sa xelaat sax dina la indil naka ngaay solver problème boobu soo eggee di nga gis sa xel dina dal ba nga xam ne doo def loo warta def sax foog naa ne am na lu ci yónnante bi sax waxoon ci loolu noonu si ñi nga xam ne julit lañ mooy ne soo meree bul jël action si time yi mer waaw dangaa def ndanka dem defi leneen loo xam ne dina la ko fàtteel ba nga dal nga door a mun a jël action kon lu ñoo wax mooy ne daal nga def loo xam ne comme wax na ko doxantu wala nga dem read book wala su nekkee ne am nga ay xarit yoo xam ne ñu ngi toog di naan ataaya nga dem nga toog waxtaanaa ñoom tuuti naan ataaya yooyu noonu yëpp ay mbir la yoo xam ne dina la ko xaw a dalal tuuti ba sa xel dal nga xam ne problème bi di nga mun a jànkuwante moom nag léegi nii so loolu lañ wax lu ñoo def nag léegi nii mooy dinañ ubbi line yi 5050505 képp koo xam ne bugga naa dugga ci line bi mu am laajte wala yokka ci nga mun a dugga den suñ gan bi dina la ko mun a faram-fàcceel waaye nag dinañ gën a dugga ci yeneen dinaa ko bàyyi léegi mu dugga ci yeneen yoo xam ne noonu la ñoo def ba nga xam ne dinañ fanqa suñ boppa su nekkee ne dañ bugga daal jaaxare duñu lor ci suñu wérgu yaram. Ladies and gentlemen, we are opening the lines now on 5050505 for anybody who wants to be part of this program so that we can dilate more on it. But in the meantime, Alhaji Mamadou Gassama will talk about other strategies that we can take in dealing with stressful situations. Alhaji.
Okay, again, another important area, which is like, you know, when you have a very serious sickness, you see, there are times, you know, you may have a terminal illness, and you know yourself, you know, I mean, maybe you are told that this is something, I mean, it is really problematic.
It's a very difficult.
It's a very difficult
yes,
situation.
yes.
So that also is a very special case. You see, where you need somebody, you need comfort, not only from the doctor, but even your own environment. You see, people, once somebody is in that situation, again, you can unhook that person from that by again going around.
It seems we have a caller. We'll just take this caller before we go on. Hello. Okay, we've lost him.
So sorry. So just I'm bringing this also to,
it's very important,
because
yes.
this is why I know hospital, they will allow people to, you know, at least, you know, maybe visiting
hours.
There's a reason for it.
Yes, there must be visiting hours.
Exactly, because when you are on the hospital bed, you are alone. You know, you are detached from your normal routine because of your situation. It can be very stressful. So you will need an atmosphere of security, protection, love, you name them. And people from outside can bring that to you. And at the same time, in the work environment where you are. So it is important.
Another caller. Hello, caller.
Assalamu alaikum, Mr. Aja.
Yeah, wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullah.
maa ngi leen di nuyu yéen ñëpp.
ñu ngi laa fay jërëjëf si call bi. Can I call noonu ak fooy callee?
maa ngi tudd Pa Cissé.
Pa Cissé, waaw.
waaw man de sa numéro bi laa soxloon su fekkee ne mën naa ko am please. xaw ma nag.
boobu noonu soo callee technical team bi dinañ la ko mën a jox duñ ko dee nangoo joxe ci online.
di ngeen ko dee nangoo joxe ci waaw dëgg la wax nga dëgg. technical team bi number bi.
later on soo callee gars rek si number bi dinañ la ko jox.
ci number bi
waaw suñ paree programme bi yes.
seen programme bi am na solo trop sax.
jërëjëf ok. Yes. So yes.
Just to summarize, is like this. What particular one is important? If even where somebody is not at hospital but is at home and is sick, that person definitely has a stressful situation.
Oh yes.
And sometimes, you know, especially when the situation is grave, is serious, you know, the stress level also is high. So what can we do as an individual at level? You need that support. That friendly social environment is very important for that person, and it can be created by people, the immediate family and friends. Be with that person, support that person. It will really uplift that person. The stress level will go down, because the stress level will aggravate his situation if it is not addressed. So this is very important, doctor. And I think our environment nowadays, we cannot really, let's not abandon. All I can say is, let that person, because we know that person, what does he enjoy? If that person, for example, enjoys listening to the Holy Quran, why not? You play that person will be
another caller. Yeah, hello caller.
Hello, assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullah.
Uncle, na ngeen def.
Jàmm rek sant Yàlla.
Seen programme dama ubbi rek tombé si de call si dugga ma ne harama laaj ko walikum biir yu metti si suuf. Biir ba day metti si suuf ba pare day mel ni am na luy daw. di jéeg. waaw man suma nax bi loolu moo ma dedal man doon dem na appointment dem naa ba soona. yow mujjee gaañu ne comme su fekkee da ngay stop si comme menstruate bi moo dee def loolu. waaw loolu nag affaire bi jaaxal ma trop ba tey mu ngi metti si suuf.
waaw bu mu la jaaxal foog naa ne lu ñoo mun a solve la waaye lu ma la advice rek mooy nga dem ci lopitaan bu la gën a jege. docteur yi gis la ñu check la bu baax su nekkee soxla nga scan ñu defal la scan parce que biir bu métti ci naxa bi lu ko waral bëri na lool ba nga xam ne duñ ko mën a waxee ci programme bu mel nii am na lu bëri loo xam ne dina ko mën a waral di nga war a dem tooga docteur mu am laajte yu bëri lum laa laajte mu defal la ay test mu defal la ay scan mu door laa wax lan la ñu door laa mun a faj waaye tey suñ programme bi nag mbiri stress moo tax moom la ñoo waxtaanee mbaa yaa ngi ko doon déglu bu baax. Okay, mu ngi mel ni kooku noonu dem na. It's a little bit outside the topic. But you were talking about a very important aspect, which as a doctor I deal with every time. I have to tell people sometimes that you have a cancer. And nobody wants to know that they have a cancer, but then every day I meet people that we diagnose with cancer, and we have to tell them that you have cancer and we need to treat it. Obviously, as doctors, we are trained on how to break the news in such a way that it does not affect them that much. But as we say, different people take things differently, and you've touched on very important thing, which is the support that they have outside the hospital. There may be support in the hospital, but that's never enough. It is the support outside the hospital, which I'm very happy you have touched on. And basically, again, it seems it is just a matter of sharing. Talking about it, and people not shying away from it, because again, shying away from it causes more problem, because I get a lot of situations where people shy away from giving diagnosis to patients, and to me that is again hiding from it or not admitting it, because you said the first thing is to admit that there's a problem, and I think that's a very important thing, and the family also should not shy away from it. They should be ready to talk about it and say, yes, there is cancer. It doesn't mean it's the end of the world. There are solutions that can be, but it's really a very important thing, and I still think that the program is such a short time, but I'll leave it to you to see what you say. I think we've been speaking English a lot now, but we will do that. Then we will go to the Mandinka language before we go. And obviously Khadijatu will be here to when we are going to give the summary, give a summary about it. But I just want to be quick in this program, and that's why we are just concentrating that way.
Exactly.
So many things to talk about.
No, so many things to talk about.
Yes.
It is an amazing program and a topic. It is so huge, and it is almost everywhere. We go with it. So as I said,
how do we deal with that
now?
As a family member now, I'm at home, and let us say my brother has been diagnosed with cancer. And he comes home and I'm aware about it. How do I deal with it? Should I never talk about that? When he comes, I say, okay, let's watch football. Because he enjoys football. Let's do this. Really, what are some tips that you have on what we can do?
I think exactly. You see, that person has somebody he trusts, who he trusts very well. You see, the trust comes very well. Like it could be. If there is somebody that person loves so much and he respects so much, bring that person closer. Maybe it could be an imam, for example. He or she goes to a mosque, and she has a very strong, high regard for that imam or the head. Or it could be even any other person. Could be even any other person in the street or among the family or at the workplace. That can be used also to help, because at the end of the day, it depends also communication. How do you communicate? Communication is very important. Like we said, if I should just go bluntly, you have...
Yeah, we have another caller.
Sorry.
Hello, caller.
Hello.
Yeah, hello. yaa ngi ci programme bi da ngaa déglu ak sa téléphone bi bul déglu si TV bi.
Okay.
Listen to your telephone, not the TV, ah.
Hello.
Yes. waa ñu ngi laa dégg waxal ci téléphone bi rek waaw. Okay, it seems we have lost him. But képp ku call rek na wax ci téléphone bi. Waaw mu ngi mel ni I've just been warned that we have only 9 minutes to go.
God.
So we're going to have to pause the calls.
Pause the calls,
the telephone is just ringing and ringing. But we have to pause the calls now and try to just sort of get this wrapped up. But yes, so we're talking about people who are sick. We're talking about somebody who has lost a close family or a close friend. These are all stressful situations. Somebody who has lost their job and maybe just one or two things. One thing is sleep. What can you talk about in terms of sleep and how it affects stress? Exactly.
This is very important. In fact, that is why sometimes when you look at this, when you are on this very stressful, it can disturb your sleeping pattern. Sometimes you can be in bed for the whole night. You don't sleep. You start wondering. So that tells you there is something wrong with it. That's stress. So what do you do now? You have to unhook. Now it has hooked you because you are not sleeping. Your value, you want to sleep very well, but you are not sleeping. All of a sudden you are not sleeping. Then what you need to do is, again, you communicate. You ask yourself, I admit I'm doctor, or these days, yesterday or these days, past days, I cannot sleep well. I don't know, something must be wrong with me. Then that chat will really unveil a lot, and you'll be able, but remember, again, go back to your values. You see, always go back to your values. Things that you love most, do them, but of course not hazardous things. Things that you like, you enjoy, and that are beneficial to you. Make sure when you are doing them, concentrate more on them. Don't do them as the usual way. Just give them more attention. That's why I say focus and attention. So when you are focused, you will gradually you'll be forgetting. You may not forget on the go. No, it will take time, but it will reduce the tension, like you said. The tension will be reduced.
That's good. Actually, time is almost up. What I will do is I'll allow you to just to summarize the last things we have said in Mandinka language. Then you can say goodbye to our viewers. And I'm sure we'll have to. What I want to do is bring you in maybe another time and just focus on one thing.
One thing,
and then we can talk about that in detail.
In detail, exactly.
As you said, it's a very wide topic.
It's a wide topic.
But yes, just summarize what you have said.
Alhamdulillah, ngamen fodo wala mbade ngolu mbale tentula mbale jayla mbe kachala bundal to ja kumata bake wala ni fitoti ani sonne metanku mbalia ngamen fo nga kacha dindi menka wala mo akashuto dula jamalto akashuto nyame nga siatale folo nae momuta nyanta munekela nga kudufo nga kucha kumfa men wala ni mobe sasari sasa to wala stress warta bak sako nin kuram bala mi alonko docteur men fo kuram nga mena kuram men ta tula kadon ko nga fo la nyam kuram me alonko nyinde docteur ba dangula kala don bari nyin kuram be nyama ta jaranol yalo ni o fo moye wala mu ye kaburo le sigay kaya fel yo to barana fo nyalem bari folo men kumata bak mobe ibel lala ko stress le bela folo fo la e son ni son de ya kacha ye mol fanan fo ite de no la fi hada badu borom hada badu mult fo ni mol ye kacha fo ile musolam fo le kemalam ba fo dingol lamba fo e doku la wala momo ite alon ko ilata la o mo si fal ke kacha nyoya betata ni atno stress bela tumondo bado ni o kacha nyoata dron asa tala nuna tala alon ko aka sufol fanan mako lo nyama kuran ko lo membe dende kuran dol fanan ka dende ika findi wato men wala ni stress bela yo to kurangol membe dendere ngu kulam bololu to janniwol be mamanna ila stress isa kata yo tankunde iba tankun la nyane ni mole nyosuto ini mole kacha akumata bag.
Thank you very much jërëjëf Alhaji Mamadou Gassama time bi nag mu ngi jeex si tak dina tënk rek lan la wax ci olof ñu mën a tëj si programme bi ñu ngi am rek ay minutes yu ndaw léegi nii waaye waxtaan nañ lu bëri ci mbiri stress léegi nii te waxtaan la boo xam ne wax dëgg yàlla kenn mënu ko waxtaan ci benn toogaay di nga ci mën a jël sax benn tomba rek waxtaan ko programme bi jeex lekka ak stress naka lañ demee nelaw ak stress naka lañ àndee parce que stress dafa tax doo mën a nelaw ñàkk a nelaw tam dafa tax nga gën a stress so naka yooyu noonu yëpp ay tomba la xam ne soo ko jëloon doo ko jeexal waaye daal foog naa ne lu gën a am solo si lu Alhaji Mamadou Gassama wax yëpp mooy ne lu problème bu munti nekk rek benn wax nañ la ne am nga feebar boo xam ne comme cancer feebar bu métti la naka ngaa jëflante moom wala am nga accident dog nañ sa tànka naka ngaa jëflante moom wala am nga jabet dog nañ sa tànka naka ngaa jëflante yii nii yëpp ay mbir la yoo xam ne mbir yu métti la yoo xam ne yow war ngaa xam naka ngaa jëflante moom sa docteur war naa xam naka la ko waxee sa famille war nañ xam naka la ñoo jëflante yow sa jabar say doom yi say am di jàmma yi yooyu noonu yëpp ay mbir la yoo xam ne daal lu am solo la daal waaye bu ci gën a am solo daal mooy ne bu ko denca ci yow waxtaanee ko soo ko waxtaanee yàlla mun na la cee may daal ne di nga ci am solution foog naa ne daal lii mooy ci tënka li nga xam ne moom lañ mën a waxtaanee ko waaye ni comme niñ ko waxee rek mooy ne nekkut waxtaan boo xam ne dinañ ko mun a jeexal ci benn bés so ñu ngi gërëm Alhaji Mamadou Gassama bu baax a baax ci waxtaan bi ladies and gentlemen I think I'm just going to re-summarize now in English then I will allow Kadjatu to re-summarize in Mandinka and then we will hope that another time we can get Mr. Gassama again to talk about some aspects of this because each aspect is a very wide aspect and it's really very difficult to talk about but one of the take homes for me from all the discussion we have had in the micro level in the individual what can you do is number one, talk about it, admit it and talk about it We've talked about the issue of getting a very bad diagnosis, the issue of losing a family member, the issue of losing a part of your body, the issue of even having a terminal illness. Talk about it, and when you talk about it, half the problem has been solved. It's not the whole problem has been solved, but half of it has been solved, and the other solutions we talk about, we can talk about them. Food and stress, because some people when they are stressed, they just eat food, eat, then they become obese, then they become even more stressed again because they have become obese. Or some people, when they're stressed, they don't eat at all, and then they become unhealthy. So sleep is the same thing also. So many things that we can talk about, and I'm sure we can go into a lot of details with it, but I think we should thank Mr. Gassama very well for taking the time to come and shed some light in a very difficult topic to shed on light on, and I personally have learned a lot within these 3 programs from him. Kadjatu, if you can just say your final words again. You've been listening into this. He has made your job simple because you didn't have to translate most of it, but maybe you can just give us your final words on this.
Madigol comme Mr. Gassama ya fo nyamem bani barala bake ala na kam nyum programme oto men keta kon 40 je bake le ka jiko stress mu fenneti comme nga fo nyamem aka tianyum fanuta bakele nyin sondo ma sabati baliya nyin ni ku ya abe dula beleto fengo mi yalon ka be baluwolo kono madigol o mu kuleti mi yalon ku aka tiabe fanulale ibe domoro la ban ida sino lomban fengo mi yalon ku akila hadama yale jamfandila aki ite fongo mo mominta aka wala ake bondi o mo yalto woto kulom mi ya lonku ame ya lonku kulom a fanutale adonga aka chanyi fana mu fenneti mi ya lonku ning ayatara abela ite mo manyin imanyanda ka mutefe ka foko kumankela kulo mi yale nyanta ka finti mol kanne eni moli kacha ka foye ko ning ayatara abela ite finti mol kangini ya kacha kuke mi ya lonku ila fitna kulom bari akana ke mantora koti imantora ko nyim momuneti min ya lonko wala mu dolo mingoti siga sabu wol mu kuleti mi ya lonko mbadingol abe stresso dendende lal damma na ya dendendi ni abula nin do so bantebal stresso be murun na nyaaki lingo nyamal adum fana manke wadam mate ese kurangol fana tombon no jele mi ya lonko abe stresso nyingana sembo warandilale mi ya jeko nyin kacha nyin akuma yata bakele ka jeko Mr. Gassama ngalo ba sawana na kotenke ka jeko nyin kacha nyin tentendi no nyamenne pour ka jeko mbadingol gana sa fahamu no nyame nsenye stresso gana bayno nyaadi len nani fannal kono anina dinkiral kono ka jeko ala mantoro nyin abe dasala bakele ka jeko mel fana yalon ko be sira fengol to stresso ye sambaje ibe kodi la no nyaadi le ka finti mol kay ni mol e kacha ka jeko nyin mantoro ko nyin se boyla no nyaadi le mbeni baral ala baraka bake. Thank you, Doctor.
Thank you very much, Kadjatu. Thank you very much, Mr. Gassama, and to our technical team. Thank you very much, and for all people who have been listening to us, and the people who were able to call, and the people who tried to call and could not get through, we thank you very much. Mbokk yi ñu ngi leen a gërëmaati fii ba beneen londi incha allah rek lañ leen mënoon amal tey ba beneen londi jërë ngeen jëf.